Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Young Fan Podcast. Today is a very, very special one because Oxford United are opening their campaign, not their league campaign, but I guess their 2020-2021 season campaign tomorrow at 3 o'clock against AFC Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup. Now, it's not a league game. It is a Carabao Cup game. It is a cup competition. In today's episode of the podcast, we're going to be going through what that means for Oxford United, my predicted lineup. We're going to be going through my reaction to Carl Robinson's match preview and his match preview press conference. I'm going to give him my reaction and my thoughts on that. We're going to be going through the squad as well in terms of who do I think is going to be playing, who do I think is not going to be playing, who's fit, who is not fit, and any suspensions that may change the look of the squad in tomorrow's game against Wimbledon. So I'm very, very excited to have Oxford United playing again competitive football. Of course, we've had a very good pre-season. If you haven't checked out my pre-season review and Rob Dickey departure episode, that was the last one. I would definitely recommend checking that one out. That would be fantastic. Thank you so much for the support on the last episode before that, which was my predictions episode. That was fantastic, and I'm actually really, really enjoying having the fans of other clubs coming into the comments and just talking about the football club. That's what I want. I want a football conversation in the comments down below. I love replying to them. I've tried to reply to every single one of them. I'm pretty sure I have done. So if you can continue doing that as well on this episode, how did your pre-season go for your team? How are you feeling going into the season? As well. But thank you very much for that. Continue supporting that. That will be fantastic. And a way you can support this episode is leaving a like and subscribing to the Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel. That would be fantastic as well. And if you could like the other episodes that you've watched as well, that is great. But enough of that. Let's crack on now with the Oxford United preview versus AFC Wimbledon. I've got the squad list in front of me now. Obviously, I'm pretty sure all injuries for goalkeepers that doesn't exist. We've got a fully fit goalkeeper selection between Simon Eastwood and Jack Stevens. The backline situation seems to just be as simple as Elliot Moore, John Mousinho. Sean Clare is, of course, in our squad this season, but he is suspended for tomorrow's game against Wimbledon. I keep saying tomorrow, hoping that this does come out tonight, being Friday night. Hopefully I can get it up by tonight, and hopefully all this makes sense. The reason why I'm saying tomorrow is it's because the day before. But Sean Clare is not fit to play against Wimbledon. Sorry, he is fit to play against Wimbledon, but is suspended due to a suspension he picked up in Scotland before he moved to Oxford United this summer. So he cannot play against Wimbledon. But of course, we have got another game between that before the league as well. So I'm sure he will get a run out there. We'll come on to that in a little bit. Josh Ruffles as well, it will be there as well. Sam Long, of course, Rob Atkinson. The midfielders, I'm pretty sure all midfielders are fit other than Hansen. I doubt will be in the squad. I doubt Cooper will be back in the squad either because I believe he's away on international duty. If I'm wrong, then definitely do let me know. But I'm pretty sure he's away with Northern Ireland on international duty. I'm not sure if the international duty situation with Mark Sykes has been resolved and if he is playing for the Republic of Ireland yet. If he's not, he should be playing. If he has gone to the Republic of Ireland, then he won't be available, but I'm pretty sure he is. So it means Goran's going to be available, Brannigan's available, Sykes is available, Anthony Ford is available. Question mark over Cooper, I'm pretty sure he's not. I'm pretty sure he is on international duty. Marcus McGuane, Hansen I don't think is going to be available, and Napa looks to be fit. Going into the Liam Kelly, I've just forgotten there. Liam Kelly is also available, I think. I'm pretty sure he is available. Forwards, Robbie Hoare looks to be fit. Matty Taylor looks to be fit. Henry should be fit. Dan Adji should be fit. And Osai should be fit as well. I think I'm pronouncing that name wrong. Is it Osai? I'm not exactly sure. But all I know is he is fit after scoring 2 fantastic goals and clawing us back a draw against Brentford. And Dylan Asonga as well is also available for selection. Whether or not he'll play, I'm not sure. I don't think he actually came on in any of the pre-season games that were available for us to watch, which was of course Brentford, QPR and Crystal Palace. I don't think he did. He was named on the bench, I remember, against Brentford. I'm not sure how many minutes, if any minutes, he got. I think he will be available for selection though. If he will be selected, I'm not entirely sure. I know this is the preview, but I'm going to quickly go through a couple of pieces of news, because I'm not going to be making another episode of the podcast about sort of the transfers, I don't think, because it's going to literally be the preview, and then we're going to be doing the match reaction situation. And then we're going to be literally rolling into previews and match reactions as well, pretty consistently from then on. So I don't know if I'll be able to do podcast episodes or lots of podcast episodes talking about the transfers of Oxford. However, we have heard some news that Oxford United are looking to bring in another striker. In Carl Robinson's words, of course, he has said that he's looking to bring in a striker that is as best as it gets at this level. Very interesting to see who that is going to be. Certainly going to add competition to Matty Taylor, of course. We're also looking for cover at left back, because obviously Josh Ruffles is literally our only left back option. We did mention that briefly in the last episode of the podcast as well. So, I mean, Josh Ruffles, I did mention that situation. Josh Ruffles is at the moment our only left back, so I'll see how that goes. But other than that, I'm pretty sure business looks pretty good. He did also say he would like to bring some potential cover in on the left, because Joel Cooper literally is one of our only options on left as well. Obviously, we had Nathan Holland last season. He's obviously not with us back on loan again this season, nor's Marcus Brown. So we have very little cover and very little options on the left. We're looking to bring in a player as well, but I'm not sure Carl can bring in every single player he wants: a striker, a cover left back, and another left midfielder / left winger. If he can, fantastic, but I'm not entirely sure if he can. But of course, more news will be coming out of that very, very shortly around that situation. Very intrigued to see who that striker is that Carl Robinson is talking about. But other than that, that's the squad. That's the squad that looks to be ready for selection for tomorrow's game. Also looks to be the selection for the Chelsea under-21s game in the Leasing Cup. I'm pretty sure it's still called the Leasing Cup. And it looks also to be the squad going into the first game of the season, of course, next Saturday against Lincoln, which we're very, very excited for. And as well, there'll be a match preview for that one as well. Potentially in that match preview, we'll be talking about the new striker, the new left back, and potentially the new left winger, if Carl can get that business done and if he can bring those players in that he wants to bring in. From the word, when he mentions bidding and putting a bid on the table, it does give me that sort of feeling that it's going to be a permanent deal. It doesn't feel like it's going to be a loan deal, but we could be potentially bringing in a loan in a left back, potentially as our cover for the season, sort of a short-term fix. We could be bringing another left midfielder. Could it be Nathan Holland? Again, I'm not entirely sure. I doubt it is, because we haven't heard too much about that. But if it is, then maybe. We haven't had a lot of transfer business recently, but the business we brought in has been great. If you wanted to see more and listen to me talk about the transfer business of Oxford United so far, I definitely would recommend the Transfer Talks Begin episode, the first one, episode number 1, and the Oxford Sign 7 episode, where we sort of discuss all of the signings that Oxford have made and how I think they're going to influence Oxford this season. Also, I recommend all of them. I do recommend all of the podcast episodes. Feel free to check them out, leave a like, and just watch them and hopefully enjoy. Let's crack on with the preview then, because that's why we're all here. That's why we're recording this episode of the podcast. That's why you've clicked on to listen to this episode of the podcast, because if you're a Wimbledon fan, welcome. If you're an Oxford fan, let's get excited for the start of the season, shall we? Because it's a very, very exciting one ahead of us. And today, also say tomorrow, but today, the first preview, I'm very, very excited to see what the season holds for Oxford United. So, let's crack on with it then. Carl Robinson has already said that he is going to play 2 sides against Wimbledon and the Chelsea under-23 squad as well. Now, I'm not entirely sure the day of the Chelsea under-21s game. I want to say Wednesday or Tuesday. I could be completely wrong. I'm definitely sure it's not Friday. It wouldn't be the day before the start of the season, and it wouldn't be Monday. I'm definitely not sure it's going to be Monday night. So it could be either Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. I want to sway towards Tuesday or Wednesday. It's probably not going to be Thursday now I've said that. But it's definitely a midweek game against Chelsea under 21s. And he has actually said that Oxford United will be playing 2 different sides against those 2 teams. They are going to treat it as a pre-season game. I have that sort of feeling about it, the way he's speaking about it. But we'll come on to that in a minute in his pre-match, in my pre-match reaction to Carl Robinson's chat to Oxford United's media team. This could be a one stronger team than the other. Of course, a mix of 2 squads is also an option. Obviously, I'm going to have a predicted lineup on the screen while I'm doing this as well. We've got a new little graphic going on. I should be in a box. I'm filming this before I've edited this episode of the podcast and edited what's going on. I should be right now in a box with the Kassam Stadium behind me, or should I say the Grenoble Round. I might get a little bit of stick from the Oxford fans there as well. Grenoble Road behind me. And I should also have the predicted lineup either on my left or my right. And obviously, because it's a camera, and because I'm talking this way, and because I'm just rambling on, it's going to be opposites. So it could be this side, or it could be this side. I will have my predicted lineup for it. It is difficult to do a predicted lineup in the first game of the season because I have no idea what Carl Robinson's real plans are. He didn't really have like a set in stone preseason side, which I think is pretty usual. A manager doesn't normally go in, of course, with the same team every side and every game he plays in preseason. It was very mixed. It was a very sort of, you think he's going to play him, and he then goes and plays him. It was very preseason based around giving people match time and adding to that match fitness and certainly sorting that out. I'm sort of swearing towards the opinion he's probably going to play the team that he's playing on Saturday against Lincoln tomorrow. I could be completely wrong, but obviously I've only got to go off predictions. It's a prediction lineup for a reason, and also we haven't played a lot of the season, or any of the season, so I can't do that prediction. When we play Lincoln, I could potentially give a better predicted guess, and as the season goes on and as we sort of play more games, I'll be able to give probably a better predicted lineup. In the future of the previews, I do want to sort of individually talk about the lineup and my opinions to the lineup, because I'll basically have the official lineup with me, because it will be very much self-explanatory. At the moment, it's very, very much a prediction. It's very random. I could put this predicted lineup on the left or the right of me right now, and it could be entirely wrong. He could go with a full team against Chelsea under-21s. The reason why I feel like he's not going to do that is because A, that's closest to the Lincoln game, and B, and I think more importantly, I think Wimbledon are going to be more of a test than Chelsea under-21s, which sounds, people that don't really understand the situation of this competition will think, what are you on about? Chelsea under-21s, should be absolutely unbelievable. I mean, they do have some fantastic players, I'm sure they do, but it's very, very difficult to Wimbledon, very difficult to a League One established side in Wimbledon. I know I did predict Wimbledon to come bottom of the league. I'm sorry, Wimbledon fans, but I mean, there was a reason behind that. I explained that in the predictions video, but I think I did also mention sort of the situation with the Premier League youngsters and the League One teams. It's very, very difficult, and when you're a League One team week in, week out, it's a much more aggressive, a much more competitive league. This is a Chelsea under-21 side that I can't imagine play week in, week out, whereas we do as a League One side as well. You don't know who's going to be in the 21s lineup. There could be a couple of senior players playing in the under-23s. I know that's something they do. They definitely did that with the under-23s. Whether or not they can do that in the under-21s, I'm not entirely sure. But what I'm trying to say is I think Wimbledon is going to be the team that he goes strongest against. It's League One opposition. He'll probably want to test this team against League One opposition. And again, it isn't actually the seasons. There's probably no better time to do that. So I think Wimbledon's going to be the team that he does that against, and my predicted lineup is going to be Simon Eastwood in goal. I have put Sam Long at right back. The reason obviously behind that is because Sean Clare has got his one-match ban, which pretty much guarantees Sam Long to start. Centre back, I'm going with Elliot Moore and Rob Atkinson. I feel like that is going to be the partnership we see a lot of this season. Now Rob Dickey's gone. Left back, I'm going Ruffles, literally because we have no other left back. If I'm being honest, I can probably see Ruffles play against the Chelsea under-21s. Maybe play Sam Long at right back and bring Sam Long at left back and put Sean Clare out at right back like he did in the second half of the Brentford game. But even then, you're trying to attempt to rest players, but is he, he's not going to, either way, Sam Long's going to play both of those games. If he does do that, and so who's he going to rest? Who's he going to rest? I'm not sure, but either way, we don't have a backup left back. We don't have great depth, if any depth, in the left back situation area. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a left back of Josh Ruffles again in both games today, which isn't ideal. This week. So it's not ideal, but I'm pretty sure that's the only option. I'm pretty sure that's the only situation, the only scenario, and the only the way that we can go around that. So Josh Ruffles looks to be the main left back this season, and will have to be. And I'm pretty sure he will be the only left back playing until we get some cover. If we get some cover, which obviously Carl Robinson does want. We obviously just didn't mention there that 4-3-3 is going to be the most likely formation he's going to use. I'm going to say Gorin in the defensive midfield and Brannigan and McGuane. that's, I feel like, going to be the three we see a lot of this season. We know we've got Kelly, of course, that can come in there. Of course, we've got Anthony Ford that's seen a lot of central midfield and not out wide. I saw him playing actual central midfield quite a lot in this season. But other than that, we've got very little options in centre. We have got options in midfield, but that's the sort of main three, and in addition to that, we've probably got Anthony Ford that can do a job and Liam Kelly. Other than that, there's no real central midfielders. Obviously, Mark Sykes has moved his way out to play on the left and on the right. If Hansen comes back, I can probably see him playing right back. That could help us with cover, but we've got right backs galore at the moment. So if he can play left back and if he can do a job at left back, that'd be great. But obviously, a defensive midfielder potentially can do an option. He really can do a job. He could do that. But I don't believe he's going to be fit. So it does look like those are going to be the three in midfield. On the left, I'm pretty sure we're going to see Mark Sykes, Matty Taylor up front, and Henry on the right. Other than that, I think that could be the lineup. We could potentially see Derek Ossie be rewarded for his great performance against Brentford. I think he is looking to be one for the future. I don't think he is the main plan going forward. I could be completely wrong with that. He could play loads of games this season and prove us all wrong. He does look very, very decent. I think Joel Cooper will be a good addition to this squad when he comes back from international duty. So I think he could potentially play in there instead of potentially Sykes. But I do think he's mainly right. Likes playing off the right, and we've got lots of players that can play off the right. But off the left, we don't really have a lot of options, which is why I think Carl Robinson is looking to delve into the transfer market and sort that situation out. Hopefully he does. I don't know if he will be able to, but he is looking to do that. In terms of the history with us against Wimbledon, which will be interesting. Obviously, the first game was in 2011. It was the first game we played against Wimbledon was in 2011. Since then, 18 games have been played between Wimbledon and Oxford, and 11 of them we have won. So we have won most of the games that we've played against Wimbledon. The last meeting was a 5-0 win against Wimbledon for Oxford last season. And that was in the league last season. There's been 3 draws between the two sides, and Oxford have lost 4. All of those defeats have come between 2016 and 2018. So the last time we lost against Wimbledon was in 2018, of course, 2 years ago. So can we hopefully not lose to Wimbledon and crash us out of the Carabao Cup? We'd like to go through a couple of rounds. Of course we would. We want to win games. It's a competitive game. Oxford United will want to win. And I certainly want to win. I'm sure all the fans want to win. I'm sure Oxford want to win. Basic match rules is going to be straight to penalties. So if it is a draw like it has been 3 times against these two sides, it's going to be going to penalties. Hopefully Oxford United can win. I will be doing my final match prediction at the end of the episode of the podcast as well. I'm going to do my sort of reaction and talk about through my notes about my pre-match preview reaction to Carl Robinson. He did a sort of brief reaction. It was only about 2 minutes long to Oxford United's media team. And I've went through it and I've just picked up the interesting points and just going to briefly discuss about it and sort of feel how I feel about it. So the first one was this competition, he basically said, and in his words, was pointless with no fans. Of course, I didn't actually know this, and that's something that I didn't ever sort of cross my mind, and I don't think I even thought about it. But interestingly, the Carabao Cup does not offer sides any tournament prize money, which is strange. Obviously, the FA Cup does, but the Carabao Cup doesn't. Obviously, the only way that Oxford United and these clubs can actually make money is through ticket revenue and through, drawing a decent side, getting through the rounds, drawing a big team, and then obviously trying to get like a full house or close to a full house and getting a lot of fans in, which obviously brings in the ticket revenue, which is the only way this is possible. Now, obviously, no rocket science needed to work out. There'll be no fans for at least the first 2 rounds. The next round is literally in about 2 weeks' time. This Carabao Cup does come very thick and fast. It is literally nearly week after week after week in the early rounds. So this round of this competition is literally a bunch of friendlies until fans can come back in. The only intention to go through the rounds is to play the big teams. And if we can get to round 4, the prediction looks to be the sense that I don't think fans will be even in for round 3, which I think is in about a month's time. We'd love fans to be back in a month's time, but I just don't think it's going to be possible. If it's not possible, then we will be playing the first 3 rounds without any fans, which makes this competition very pointless. It makes this competition have zero motivation and zero meaning. The only thing we can get out of this, and the only thing I will take out of this, is it's a competitive game that is against the League One opposition side. We do not want to be losing games like against Wimbledon, in my opinion, because it puts us in a bad frame of mind going into the season. Losing to a League One side is not what we want to do. Go here before we started the season. I saw Chelsea and Brighton did it. I'm not sure how that friendly was allowed to play against the Premier League side versus the Premier League side in the pre-season friendly. It's actually Chelsea's actually opening game of the season, and Brighton's opening game of the season is against each other. So I'm not sure how that's worked out. But I think it's very similar in this case. We do not want to be the side that have lost against the League One side in a pre-season. I mean, it's not pre-season, is it? It's a Carabao Cup game, but we don't want to do that. We do not want to do that. A lot of them is obviously completely defeats the point of the competition. It does completely defeat the point of the competition. The whole point of this competition is to bring in the fans, bringing in these fans that come across. There's no better night than a West Ham at home game at the Kassam Stadium last season. There's no better game than going up to Grenoble Road. I keep saying it wrong. Obviously, it's not the Kassam in the fans' eyes, but Manchester City, of course, we played them in the FA. No, that was in the Carabao Cup as well. That was the Carabao Cup last season as well. Sunderland. Those magical nights will not be with fans, and it will not be the same with no fans. So it's very, very difficult. Obviously, we are going to be treating it as a friendly, giving the game time to the players as well. I'm pretty sure that is literally why we're going to be doing the under-21s side and a Wimbledon side. Obviously, it's sort of an extended pre-season, but obviously we still want to win. It is important and is a big game because we still want to get through those rounds as well. Because if we get to round 4, for example, we can have fans back in, and round 4 is probably going to be probably a bigger side. We could get Manchester United, Manchester City, West Ham, any of those sides, Premier League sides, in round 4, if we're still in round 4. But we've got to play 3 teams before then. So it's going to be difficult. We've got no fans probably in those first 3 games. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. But hopefully Oxford United can start their Carabao Cup campaign with a win. Obviously, in terms of Wimbledon, obviously that does mean, not that it means anything, but I mean I did predict Wimbledon to come bottom of the table in my predictions. Not that really means anything. I just think that obviously it's a cup competition, anything can happen. West Ham, we beat last season 4-0. We hammered West Ham, and obviously they're in the Premier League. So it literally means nothing. You can't really compare it to the league situation. We gave Manchester City a good game for large periods of the game, and they've won the league back to back. Just 2 years ago, so they didn't win it last season, but they're obviously one of the best teams in the world. And we gave them a decent game. We only lost that game 3-1. So it's difficult. It's difficult to predict, and it's very difficult to sort of give that, league to cup prediction. But just to let you know, I did put Wimbledon in 24th in the league. Briefly going back to the predicted lineup, I really do not know what that lineup is going to be, and it would be interesting to see going into the Chelsea under-21s game how much of a change he's going to make. When he says 2 different sides, is that going to be 5 or 6 changes, or are we literally going to see Jack Stevens in goal? Are we going to see John Messinio start? Are we going to see... we don't have any other centre-backs. We literally have Elliot Moore, John Messinio, and Rob Atkinson. So one of Elliot Moore or Rob Atkinson's going to have to play against Chelsea under-21s anyway. Probably going to be Elliot Moore. He obviously now is the experienced one of the back line if John Messinio is not playing. So I'm pretty sure we probably will see John Messinio and Elliot Moore playing against under-21s. It's going to have to be Ruffles. It's going to have to be, it doesn't have to be, but it's probably going to be Sean Clare at right back when he's sort of used that, when he's had that suspension. Or Sam Long can play again because maybe Sean Clare's not match fit after not playing, but he's still going to be training. I don't know. I'm probably not going to do a preview for the Chelsea under-21s game. It's not because I'm disrespecting the competition, but it's because I'm disrespecting the competition. I don't think a Leasing Cup preview is something that's... I don't want to just bring out episodes of the podcast and preview episodes of the podcast for literally the sake of it. If we start going through the rounds and we get out the group stage of this competition, I probably will be doing previews for this Leasing Cup. But the Carabao Cup's an important competition for Oxford United because it's a cup competition that can eventually lead in great success and fantastic nights at Oxford that I'm really looking forward to. And I do love that cup competition. Those nights against Manchester City, West Ham, and Sunderland, I just pray that we can still have those nights in the circumstances this season. But the Carabao Cup is a big competition for us. The FA Cup will be, of course, and obviously the league, which I'm so excited to bring that preview and match reaction out for the first game of the season. That's going to be fantastic. But look, it's difficult, and I don't think I will be doing a match reaction I probably might do a match reaction for the under-23s Chelsea game. I probably won't be doing a preview for that. In terms of my team playing, I think it will be a Liam Kelly start against Chelsea under-20, under-21s. Napa could get a game. Anthony Ford will probably get a game. I'm not sure when Cooper gets back from international duty, but he could get a game if he's back. Robbie Orr will probably get a game. Dan Adji will definitely have a game. I'd say definitely, probably. Completely counteracting that. It's a Dan Adji game that I feel like he should take. Carl Robinson has sort of now played him out on the right, so what will happen there with the Rob Hall, Dan Adji, who's going to be playing where? Or he could be playing up front. Derek Ossie could definitely have a game as well. Dylan Asonga, of course, could have a game as well. There is lots of options. We have got a depth, but from what I'm trying to take of it is, if it's going to be, if he's saying we're going to play two sides, I think we are going to take his word for it. I think it will be a two-sided. Two sides against these two different oppositions, Wimbledon and Chelsea. So yeah, if I'm going to put money on it, and I don't want to bore you, but I do think my predicted lineup for Chelsea is going to be Jack Stevens in goal, Ruffles left back, Elliot Moore, John Massinio. It's 50-50 between Sam Long and Sean Clare. I'm going to go Sean Clare because I think he's going to want to get him a competitive match in before the start of the season. So I'm going to go with that. Anthony Ford. He's going to have to play another player. Anthony Ford, Liam Kelly, maybe Gorin, or if Hanson's fit in about a week and a half's time, maybe Jamie Hanson, Robbie Orr, Dan Adji, and Derek Ossie. I think Derek will probably go up front, Dan Adji on the right, and Hawley on the left potentially. I think that's probably going to be the closest we're going to get to it. It's interesting. It's good to have options, I guess. But he is looking to bring in more players. He's looking to bring in a left wing, looking to bring in cover at left back, looking to bring in another striker. If those deals go over the line, it definitely adds more depth to Oxford United and certainly excites us even more for the season ahead. But thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast, an exciting one, the first preview on the podcast as we play against Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup tomorrow against I've already said Wimbledon in the Carabao Cup tomorrow, a 3:00 kickoff if I'm not wrong. That's been my match preview with my predicted lineup, my pre-match reaction from Carl Robinson, sort of the history between Oxford and Wimbledon in terms of the game and how previous games have gone, and my match prediction, which I've just remembered I haven't done, which reminds me, I believe Oxford United will win this game 2-0. I don't think it's going to be as mental as 5-0 the last meeting. I don't think it's going to be that. We're going to have to slowly put this game into. I feel like maybe if he plays, I think we can still win this game 5-0, but I don't think we will. I think we can win this game 5-0, but I just don't think that's going to be how we're going to start the season. I don't want to be unrealistic. 2-0, 2-1 is probably going to be a realistic score. Wimbledon, done some decent business. Of course, I have put them bottom, but it's a cup competition. Anything can happen in the cup competitions. We've beaten West Ham. We've given Manchester City a decent game. We equalised against them for about 10 minutes. We've beaten Sunderland on penalties. This competition happens and does. And we've had some magical nights in this cup competition. So can Wimbledon pull off, which I'd probably say is an upset. I'm pretty sure Wimbledon probably will be the underdogs for this game. And I'm not sure many Wimbledon fans can really argue with that. But I'm looking forward to it. Wimbledon are going to be a tough opposition. They are going to give us a game. And that is what we want. So, Oxford United versus Wimbledon, 3:00 on Saturday. This has been the match preview. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast. Thank you for your continuous support on the podcast. I'm just loving doing this podcast, man. It's so much fun, and I'm looking to continue doing that as well. I feel like I'm repeating myself. Subscribe to the Young Fan Podcast YouTube channel. Follow the Instagram page at the Young Fan Podcast. I'm going to be doing more as the football season starts on there as well. I'm really looking forward to that. Anything I've missed? I don't think I have. Thank you very much for listening to this episode of the podcast, the preview, the first preview of the season. It's a memorable one, people. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you later.